Alright, welcome back everybody. We are in round 3. Kept a good hand, a little slow with the vent, something we talked about. Tap lands, but annoying, but the long game plan for that card's great. So, given all of these 1-drops, I don't want to play a tapped vent. I want to get an Inquisition out first. My main question, so I'm definitely doing Bloodstained Mire. The question is whether I want to go basic Swamp or shop Godless Shrine. Again, the history does make it more likely that we're going to want double white. That said, life total and Blood Moon against unknown opponent, life total and Blood Moon considerations are there. So I might get punished with this, but I think just getting Swamp's going to be better. Well, so if they do have Blood Moon, we have 2 turns to take it with Inquisition, now that I think about it. So let's just go ahead and shock here. If it was a Thoughtseize, it'd be tougher. Like going to 15 on turn 1 or on turn 0 is tough. Okay, so doesn't matter much. Bolt doesn't do much. Death Shadow's annoying, but we have Path and Inquisition for it. We may want to Path the Angler. So I'm going to go ahead and take... If they only want Serum Visions, it'd be a clear Serum Visions, but they do have 2, which makes it a little awkward. But I'm going to go ahead and take it. And then the next turn I'll probably take Death Shadow from them, and then we'll go from there. Definitely glad I shocked myself though, for a Godless Shrine, I should say. Got a Godless Shrine, not the shocking. But life totals matters in this matchup definitely, but not as much as just being able to play all your cards. So I think in general, if we get to play all of our cards and they get to play their cards, we're going to be slightly favored. Obviously timing on all this stuff's important against Death Shadow. Like, you want to make sure you can deal with their threats appropriately. Alright, well, they did have 2 draws to get the Thoughtseize. Took the Path. Okay, so that's going to make Angler a real threat. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to have to take Death Shadow, since 1 threat's going to be bad enough. The Angler's going to be tough enough. So they're going to go shock, Serum Visions. They'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in their graveyard, so they need a fetch land to be able to play Angler this turn. And I guess they could like Visions for a fetch land, but then I guess they could then play it. Yeah, that's fair. If they drew a fetch land, they could have had the Serum Vision will be the 6th card. Wait. Oh, I gave it to them, right. I just gave it to them because I took Death Shadow, put it in their graveyard. I wasn't counting that. Alright, well, that's a bummer. I really want to get the ball rolling with Bitter Blossom, but I think I just want to use my mana better. So next turn I do Blossom and Souls, which is great. And then we've got a chump blocker every turn. So do I want to chump? I think with Bitter Blossom we just want to keep our life total decently high. And like, we don't have immediate threat. Like, if I had a Virtue in my hand and I knew I was going to be starting to attack them for a bunch, I might think differently, but we don't. So think we're kind of on chump block mode. Yeah. All right, well, path is good. The question is, which one do we want to path? And I think we do want to path one over flashing back souls. I'm gonna definitely do this. And then, so Battle Rage makes the Death Shadow more threatening long term. Right now they can make the Death Shadow a 5/5. So I think we're gonna be pathing the Death Shadow. And then if they want to Bolt a Spirit to let the Angler get through and deal me 5, then that's fine. It's part of the reason why I want to make my life total high. And I think long term that Vault to the Archangel plus Bitter Blossom's going to help us deal with the Angler there. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and path this now in case they draw or have a counterspell. What's it called? Stubborn Denial. So I'm going to be taking 5 here. They should have assumed I had something because I had an active Lingering Souls in my graveyard that I didn't flash back. But we'll take 5. And then even if I draw land and I can activate the Vault, I'm still going to flash back Souls because as much as I would want Bitter Blossom plus leave up Vault, if they kill the token, then it's pretty annoying because I've did nothing with my turn. They deal me another 5 damage. Alright, double Angler's tough. Like some kind of spell though. They play a land last turn. I don't think so. So what could they have had? They left some cards in their graveyard. Kind of looks like they're leaving mana open. If they have Stubborn Denial, they just let me take it and I go down to 9. I just feel like if they have something like a Snapcaster or a Kolaghan's Command, it's just really bad for me. So should have, okay, Fatal Push. Yeah, should have paid better attention to their plays. But yeah, it did seem like they were leaving that open on purpose. In which case, like, the Thoughtseize is worse. If it was Inquisition, I would have snapped it off, like, no question. But with Bitter Blossom out against a deck that's attacking us, the life's pretty relevant. Alright, well, I'm going to get while the getting's good. The other option is to leave 1 token alive. If I do, well, yeah, I don't have the land. So if I did draw a land, then I'd go down to 4, but then I'd leave 2 tokens that are potentially Vault, that leave Vault open, but I don't think I could quite risk it. Because if I take 5, Bitter Blossom is also 1, then I'm in bolt range. Or Bitter Blossom takes me down to 3. Jeez. Pretty much dead, I think. Yeah, because even a land to gain 1, kill 1 would still only put me up to 9 and I take 10. So, well, I could activate Vent actually. And I'm still alive. It's not a great spot because I don't really have a long-term way of dealing with these threats. But it does give me some more information, like I said. Even just like something like seeing Bolt Gives me information that they're playing Bolt, which not all these decks do. So I'm going to 5 here, and then going to 4. Yeah, like there's really no, I don't think I have any outs, because even if I kill one, I'm still taking lethal. Yeah, if that was something I could play. I guess last turn, like a Lingering Souls would have let me chump, and I would have still had my other land out, and I could flashback Souls and have a path. I mean, they just like have to attack with everything. Yeah, and they have really no reason not to. Yeah. All right. It's kind of close, I guess. But it's a decent matchup for us. So it's tough because Wrath looks good in like a situation like that, but I don't think it's good overall. I find Brutality is not quite enough because the duress effect's not quite worth it, and that's all it really does. Like, yeah, if they're at 1 or 2 life, you can steal a win, but it's not as common. I think Halo's usually pretty good. I like Auriok Champion a lot. That's the easy switch. Actually, against Grixis, Rest in Peace is good too. What don't I want? I want all the removal. I think I want all the discard. Maybe I don't want all of it. All my threats are good. Virtue's good in the face of like Staticaster, but I have protection, so I don't know if that's enough. Collar's good. But slow. Like, it's good in that pass situation. My Planeswalkers are good. It's possible Sword's a little slow. I want Bitter Blossom. I want Virtue. 1 Virtue is what I'm looking at here. I think Rest in Peace is worth it. Shuts down Angler, Snapcaster. Yeah, maybe that's not enough. Rune Halo does shut it off. I think Rune Halo is good in this matchup. You just name one of their threats, Angler or Street, or well, Street Wraith potentially in a long game, but Death Shadow. Do I want Collar basically? I'm not bringing in Wrath. I think I do want to shave a Virtue. It's just like Staticaster is the reason you want to keep the Virtue. Obviously, it's a creature matchup, so you want to have Virtue out, but it's not a huge deal. And then it's Collar or Rest in Peace. I should have this matchup better set. I think on the play... I'll do that. Like, losing the Lingering Souls out of the graveyard is pretty tough, but I think it's good enough. Yikes. Virtue, Souls, Rest in Peace. Kind of punished here. I want to keep this hand real bad because it is good against them. Like, just all of this is really good against them. And it's pretty Thoughtseize proof. I just need a land. I actually need 2. I can path their first threat. I think going down to 6 is kind of tough. If I just don't draw a land, though, I'm in pretty big trouble, I think. Because they can Thoughtseize my path, and then I'm screwed. You got to mulligan this. Alright. Seems pretty good. If they don't Thoughtseize my champion, I'm in good shape. I'm going to keep here. So having no turn 1 play, I'm going to top that. Alright. Well, that answers my question. I was going to maybe fetch a tap Godless Shrine but I do want to keep the path on top, so I'm just going to go courtyard here. And then we still have like basically untapped lands forever, so that's good. We can fetch a basic swamp if we want to, or Godless Shrine on a turn, we don't need it. Okay. So they can't Stubborn Denial this. They could Spell Pierce if they do that kind of thing. Usually they don't, or not Spell Pierce, Spell Snare. But I don't think they usually play Spell Snare. If they do, that'd be kind of an annoying blowout. Like, okay, yeah. It's like, I get that we have Bitter Blossoms and Virtues and all that, but like, I don't think Death Shadow can fit Spell Snare in their deck. There's just so many other cards that they want in between main and sideboard. So I think overall, I think between the champions that basically they can't get rid of and the Rune Halo and then just my removal spells, it's kind of hard for them to win later. All right. I'm going to do this first, obviously. One, just to get tokens out, but do I want to make their life total lower? Yeah, I think I don't mind. So next turn I'll flashback Souls, play Rest in Peace. I mean, if they thought seize me, so be it. But I'll Souls and then Rest in Peace, and then we've got a pretty good path to victory. Could potentially even take a hit if we want to. We'll do the math on a clock, but we might even just want to get in there with the champion if they play a creature here. Then having gained 5 life, we might be able to take the 5. All right, so they may. Interesting here. So what do I want to resolve the most? I think I really want Halo and Souls, but I can't bait out or remove a counter spell. So I mean they're representing Stubborn Denial. So I want to bait out a spell first. Question is whether I want to bait out with the Ruined Halo. I can't bait with the Rest in Peace because I want to resolve this, and obviously if the Rest in Peace resolves, then I can't do that. Even though Rest in Peace I think is the weakest card right now. Since they already delved, it's kind of weak there. So I'm going to go ahead and just Halo. I think I'd want the Lingering Souls to resolve over the Halo. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to name Angler. Then I can just ignore it and just attack. Yeah. Okay. So now the question is whether I want to flashback Souls in the face of something like Staticaster would be pretty brutal. I guess Staticaster is just going to kill my Souls anyway. Like they'll kill my 2 spirits next turn, and then the following turn when I play my spirits they'll be able to cast it. So if they don't have Staticaster, put them down to 9, and then maybe they kill one. And I want to attack a couple of times. Does the 1 point of life matter now? Is the question. I think, given I'm going to chip away the spirits, yeah. If they have Staticaster now, it's going to be really rough because I'm taking 5. Obviously, the long game's tough because I don't have any threats. And I took 5 when I should have blocked with Auriok Champion, but given my life total now, I'm kind of okay with that. I basically just need to get this game over with. Like even a Death Shadow is not the most difficult thing. Like obviously it's a 4/4 now, and then I attack him again, it's going to be like an 8/8 or something huge like that, but which means I would want to just attack with my spirits, leave the Auriok Champion back to block. I'd be at 19 since they're going to attack with the Angler. I would attack them to 5, which would make a fetch land plus Battle Rage really tough. That's it. So like Death Shadow and Battle Rage combined is tough. Just Death Shadow by itself I can beat, I can race. Staticaster I cannot, and if they're waiting this long, if they're thinking about it this long, they probably don't have a Staticaster, unless they're thinking about whether there's any reason to wait until my turn to do it. Because, which there really isn't. Like they can do it on my turn. There's really nothing I can draw. Because they can, in response to a removal spell on the Staticaster, they can still just shoot down my tokens. So unless they like want to take, oh, okay, that's tough. Okay, so they're deciding whether to do it for 0 or 2. All right, so I'm gonna attack with everything but the champion. And then they're probably gonna hit the explosives. And then I can cast Lingering Souls. So again, explosives is not as bad as Staticaster, but it does like draw the game out to where they could potentially draw their Staticaster. And same thing here. I don't really want to cast Rest in Peace and then leave myself without the flashback on souls. So yeah, maybe Rest in Peace just isn't that good in this matchup. Like it's, I used to bring it in all the time and it felt good, but who knows. I'm gonna block, okay. Ooh, interesting. I think I'm gonna attack first, and I want to go flashback souls, cast Rest in Peace, and then the following turn, unless they like Thoughtseize or counter my Sorin, then I'll have lethal. So I can counter this. Yep. Yeah, see, that's where Rest in Peace would have been like a lot better, but so be it. Yeah. But at least we got it out of their hand before we cast Sorin, right? Because like they would have hit Sorin with that, which would have been tough. Oh, Faithless and interesting. Well, I guess I'm glad I hit that Rest in Peace now. Does shut it down a little bit. Oh, they discarded Thoughtseize. Nice. That's good for me, given the sword in my hand. So if they take 1 point of damage, they're dead. Oh no, Snapcaster can block the champion. I was thinking Auriok Champion's usually unblockable in this matchup. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. But yeah, it's not unblockable now, so even if they went down to 6 or 5, I wouldn't have lethal quite yet with the Sorin. So, question here. I could make a token, attack them down to 5. So they have no cards in hand. I could attack them to 5, make a token, and I would like block 1, chump block the other. Sorin still dies to Snapcaster. So I think I may as well do this. And then the following turn, like they'll kill Sorin. And then the following turn, I can still cast Sorin and win, unless they have a removal spell. And obviously I block just to gain the life. But if they do have a removal spell, they're down to 1. Okay. So I didn't see Staticaster, but they usually just run 1, and they only dug like 18 to 20 cards into their deck. Which, like, that's the reason to have Virtue. But Engineered Explosives makes Virtue pretty bad. I don't think Zealous Persecution is good enough, even though it kills Snapcasters. I still think it's just Collar or Rest in Peace, and like it was pretty tough that game. I guess they're playing Faithless Looting. Maybe it's just good enough. Like, it's annoying on my souls, but I think it's just good enough. I don't think I need the Collar. This is much more of a grindy matchup. Like, the Collar is better against like Eldrazi and humans, where you're gonna get run over. Like, you just have to gain the life and kill their creatures. This is much more of a mid-range matchup. Keep that. Just all interaction a threat. So this is a matchup where cast out's interesting because I think they often run Planeswalkers. Ooh, Bobble, interesting. Who'd they target? Target themselves. Okay. I think I will save my life total though and just get a swamp because I'll have, and get a plains and get a swamp, then I'll have double of each color. Especially now. So Thoughtseize brings their life total down and takes my Path to Exile. Battle Rage is scary. Just like, period, it's scary. It's going to take me a while to cast the cast out. So they do now. They're going to go to 13. Next turn they can go down to 10. Then go down to 8, cast Thoughts to when they cast Thoughtseize, and then cast Death Shadow. So basically I take a threat and they Thoughtseize my Path to Exile. Or I take the Thoughtseize, they have 2 threats, I get to hit one with Path to Exile. Because I think, even though the Battle Rage is scary, it's only game winning for now on the Death Shadow. On the Angler, it's just like having another Angler in their hand. And like their Death Shadow is big enough that if I take the Battle Rage, they're just going to kill me with a Death Shadow because they're going to take my Path to Exile anyway. So maybe I can just hope to Path the Shadow. They'll play the Angler, but then maybe I'll have Cast Out by the time the Angler is really lethal, or I'll draw another spell. Or I can just take the Thoughtseize, then they won't know my hand, and I just get to keep my path. If they draw another discard spell, it's terrible, because then they still take my path, and they have 2 creatures. But the rest of my hand's bad right now. Like, it'll be okay eventually. Sorin's pretty slow in this matchup. And with all the cards in their graveyard, and then what they're taking, and like having more fetch lands and things, like they can always cast everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Thoughtseize, I think. So it's overall the same, right? They Thoughtseize my path, and I take it. So like they end up with 1 threat anyway. Because I'm either path a threat, or they keep a threat. Or I path a threat, or I take one with Thoughtseize and they take my path. So I guess I could have played for the line that they don't Thoughtseize me, but it doesn't seem likely. Now they're going to play both. Brutal. They have 1 unknown. They're gonna draw another one. Storm Denial, like just like path has to resolve. So they're gonna shock and go down to 8 anyway. So Death Shadow's same size. Okay. All right, we're on the obviously like makes Fatal Push not an out. But Lingering Souls, Ruined Halo, Path to Exile are all outs for me. Bitter Blossom is not, and leaves me dead. Lingering Souls is still an out. They can only kill 1. History is an out. It's a chump blocker that can't be killed by Liliana. And then we can cast out Liliana, keep chump blocking the Angler the next turn. So obviously I would have shocked myself with a Godless Shrine. Then I'm dead to Battle Rage. So the question is whether they're going to plus Lily on here. They can Battle Rage. I go to 1. Pretty dead anyway. I guess if they Battle Rage, I can Yeah, so if they have the counterspell, they have it anyway. So like waiting doesn't punish me. Kind of tough here. I guess Sorin make a token as a line. That I should have paid attention to. I think I just wanted to get rid of one of their threats. I think I have to do this now. They can take a Sorin. See, the goal here is, okay, resolved. Take this. Next turn I can play Sorin. Attack with my Shrunken Knight. Shrunken, but then repumped with History. With a plus to Sorin. Should be able to kill Lily unless they can kill my Knight. Or they play another blocker. Okay. Get the Angler back. And just short. Oh no, wait. Sorin plus 4. Yeah, it'll be a 5/4. So that's perfect. Snapcaster. Thoughtseize. Take Sorin. Okay. Is that what they targeted? Return Snapcaster Mage. Not okay. Okay. So they just valued taking my Sorin over having another Angler. It depends on their hand. So I thought they were going to cast Angler, in which case I would have a 5/3 Knight that I can attack, and I would gain 5 life, which would have been huge. Maybe that's what they were playing against. Well, that certainly explains it. I already saw the Godless Shrine. Pay 2 life. No. Get in there. Don't have brutalities in here. They don't know that. Which again would be relevant if they went to 2. Now Runed Halo is a great draw. Got rid of 1 shadow. All 4 anglers are spoken for. Rest in Peace would have been good. Actually, yeah, that turn Rest in Peace would have been excellent. Like, Inquisition was good to take their Battle Rage, but Rest in Peace would have shut down both of their anglers, which would have been pretty good. May have Stubborn Denial in their hand. We're about to find out. I'm not going to just like not cast spells because they like may have drawn exactly Stubborn Denial. They left 1 open, but like could be Path too, or Push too. Yeah, I mean, it's literally a 1-outer. It's just frustrating. Again, they like telegraphed it, but they could have just telegraphed Push. That was the other option, or and like taken my Knight to try to deal me damage. So, but again, like it's pretty easy for them to just like leave open 1 blue mana all the time. That spell, like Stubborn Denial, is just their best card against us because it counters literal everything in our deck. Think Chump now or Chump later is the same. Chump now, they still play an Angler, and then they have 10 power next turn, and I'm at 10. Next turn I can Chump, and still die. I definitely need to draw something. Oh god. Not the best, friends, not the best. Yeah. It kind of feels like Rest in Peace isn't good enough in this matchup. Like, they don't depend on it enough. There was a window there. If I had it, would have shut down their anglers because I don't think they can cast it without delving. And like that would have been good, but it was really just about cards, right? That's what the matchup comes down to, is just like having enough cards. And if I don't get value out of this, like I would rather it be a Basilisk Collar. Certainly in this case. Yep. All right. 1 and 2 is pretty poor, but we're gonna keep grinding away. No reason to stop now.